If you've navigated the YouTube space as a watch enthusiast, you're more than likely to have come across Teddy Baldassarre and his expert tips. As a content creator focused on watches, it's difficult to find success in such a niche interest. Yet Teddy has spent his time over the past few years proving just the opposite. Through grueling hours spent understanding the algorithm, experimenting with different styles, and going through a ton of trial and error to make sure his channel keeps growing, Teddy now has one of the most popular watch channels on YouTube. Still, if you know anything about the YouTube content creation, you probably know that simply making videos isn't the most lucrative form of income. Ad revenue simply isn't enough to sustain a career on YouTube, which is why you'll always come across so many YouTubers selling products or investing in a business. The same applies to Mr. Baldassarre, who's been running an e-commerce website dedicated to selling watches of the highest quality. Now, Teddy has decided to expand and open a proper brick-and-mortar shop all the way in his hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. A month after its opening, we're here to talk about this new store and how Teddy has managed to break the mold of what we know about watch boutiques. As a fresh face in the watch world and the world of YouTube, Teddy made content based on his personal watch collection. Teddy was passionate about watches, and once he saw his channel gaining traction, he took a massive leap of faith and quit his job to pursue a career as a YouTuber full-time. As we mentioned before, ad revenue isn't enough for a YouTuber nowadays, so Teddy had to think quickly about making a living on the platform. Coming from a digital marketing background, he used his channel as a space to build a network with watch brands. Though the path had a lot of hurdles in the beginning, Teddy eventually had enough brands with him to launch a website in his name. This was an especially bold move, considering he took on his project in 2020 during the pandemic. Yet the website quickly gained traction, and Teddy Baldassarre soon became a brand. With the glasses, dressy suit and tie, and deep knowledge of watches that would impress even the best, Teddy had a style that set him apart. Of course, the fact that the website was reliable and consisted of a beautiful collection of timepieces to choose from that ranged from reasonable to high-end prices, his reputation in the industry skyrocketed. Of course, after seeing so much success and the chance to grow even further, one usually wonders, what's the next step? For Teddy, his interests led to the idea of opening up a brick-and-mortar store in his hometown with a personal touch. Obviously, opening up an actual boutique store filled with some of the best watches modern horology can offer is not a small task, so he knew this couldn't be just any store. Making a store that aligned with his values of building a community of watch enthusiasts and making watch collecting a much better experience was at the forefront of his priorities. Before anything else, he needed to make sure the salesmen in the store knew how to make customers comfortable. The feeling of intimidation when entering a dealership is always an obstacle, so this was an opportunity to stand out as a place where everyone was welcome. Now let's talk about the store itself. Located in Crocker Park, Cleveland, this space was chosen for more reasons than just being the place Teddy grew up. He knew the middle American market was underserved, despite having a demand for it. Besides that, Cleveland is just a few hours' drive away from many other places with people who are willing to buy from the store. Think of it as a community space for watch enthusiasts to gather from near and far and share their love for something special to them. In a way, he's giving his fans, an opportunity to get to know his team and each other. Since he'll spend a lot of time overlooking the store, you might even get to meet the man himself. You heard that right. Teddy is actually going to be in the store a lot, so if you ever go, there's a good chance that you might meet him, though we'd count on him being hounded by people most of the time, so actually interacting with him might be tough. To get to the real meat and potatoes of what's in the store, let's talk about the selection of brands available in the store. At the front of house, the store displays some gorgeous displays of Grand Seiko and Breitling watches. With Teddy's extreme appreciation for fine craftsmanship in watchmaking, this makes sense. Grand Seiko has proven time and time again that its movements are some of the best, and the special Zaratsu polishing technique is a testament to how meticulous they are at the fine details. On the other hand, Breitling is an excellent watch brand for iconic watches under $10,000, with the fine touches that Swiss watchmakers are known for. Next, the store holds a display for Glashütte watches. After two amazing brands from Japan and Switzerland, this display is an ode to the finest German craftsmanship in horology. According to Teddy, he considers Glashütte to be the mecca of watches, which is enough to understand just how close he feels to this particular company. Across from the Glashütte display is the centerpiece of Teddy's ingenuity called the Teddy Space. A dedicated area with its own mini display and chairs fit for a conversation, this space is an extension of the online store. If you've been looking at a particular watch on teddybaldassarre.com and want to see it in the flesh for yourself, you can now book a meeting with the salespeople at the store. Of course, the salespeople are willing to then have a conversation with you to answer any questions. This is a very commendable step forward in the AD market, since this concept effectively merges a digital and physical space, while also ensuring that there's no shortage of options available when you go to the store, since the warehouse is very close by. It also invites customers visiting from afar to come to the shop with an intention, so it's a useful tactic to incentivize people. The back of the store is probably the most fancy part of the store, with a giant chandelier and a couch to sit back and look around at the excellence around you. Of course, a grand space requires the best brand to match, so this area is dedicated to an Omega display. According to Teddy, Omega was chosen because it aligned with his core values of ambition with humility. Of course, it's important to consider that keeping the biggest brand name at the back of the store means the foot traffic generated from Omega will force everyone to first go through the rest of the store and consider other brands. There's clearly a lot of thought gone into this, and Teddy's team knows what they're doing. This store is optimized to give every customer a wonderful experience without the issues that come with going to most other ADs. This is a place where you know you're going to meet other people who share the same interests as you without any judgment. All in all, what Teddy has managed to do with his career is no small feat. Going from a small but passionate watch enthusiast making videos for fun to a businessman who puts his customers first is definitely going to impact how the industry functions. If more spaces open up with the same ideologies that run the Teddy Baldassarre store, buying watches physically will become a completely different experience from what we know. The barriers to entry will be removed, and you won't have to look and act a certain way just to get the watch that you want. In such a utopic world, everyone can be a watch enthusiast and share the joys that watchmaking has to offer. But there's a lot that needs to happen before we get there. With people like Teddy continuing to change the watch collecting space, there's no doubt that this special interest we all keep so close to our hearts will become even better than what you can imagine.